we do Zoom meetings with a lot of the other merchants in town, and I'm very empathetic with a lot of what other people are going through. But I have to say, we're busy. We're part of moving back here was a real godsend because we are isolated. We have this big parking lot. We're nice and secluded back here. Everybody takes it very seriously, so we're in a good way. And I think that has gotten across to our clientele, and people really are able to have an enjoyable experience still coming back here and looking at the art, working on framing. And we hear it from people all the time that they need this sort of respite from so much in their life, and it just creates a really enjoyable experience. If anything good comes out of this, it's going to be that people are learning to appreciate what's on their walls more because they're stuck inside staring at them. And it's true. I mean, my generation, and I'm personally guilty of this, I love to eat at restaurants and travel, and I'm very experience-based in what my focuses tend to be. But my parents' generation, they curated a home for 40 years. They weren't bouncing from one place to another, so everything they bought was long-term. They really put a lot of thought into it, and art was a great example of that. So I think people are having these realizations now that they need to create a more an environment for themselves that's very therapeutic for them, that they enjoy, that they're comfortable in, and they're realizing that that doesn't just mean furniture or open spaces or quick in and outs. That means someplace that you can spend time in and really like and enjoy.
Frank Weston Benson is a very important American Impressionist. He's a product of Boston, a member of what we call the Boston School. Proficient in so many mediums as an oil painter, watercolors, pastels, drawing, and these intaglio prints, these etchings, which he did throughout most of his career and a pretty high end of his work artistically. Mm-hmm. Well, intaglio is the process of creating the image where you actually draw with a sharp needle on a copper plate the picture and keeping it simple, then apply ink to it and print it through a printing press. From Salem, Massachusetts, he taught at the School of the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. He's in every major museum in the country and some of the world. Many important private collections, and probably is as decorated an artist as any we have in this country, meaning medals he's won at various shows. I respond to him because he's a good academic painter. He understands the concept of, if you will, seeing. In other words, he's been taught to see and learned how to truthfully render the subject that he's seeing. Another way of saying that, particularly when it comes to painting, is he understands that you paint what you know to be there, or what you see, not what you know to be there. Clearly, if you respond to anything by Frank Benson, you have a pretty good sense of design, because his pictures are always well designed. The objects are placed interestingly in the rectangle. I'm going to upset people when I say this. It can be. It absolutely can be. Mm-hmm. But please don't buy it as an investment. No, you'll be disappointed with it or not. I mean, the world's changed. People's tastes change. Mm-hmm. There are mouths that get fed when you buy things. So there are commissions and things in there. So, mm-hmm. They might do well. I mean, certainly art has done well. But don't buy it as an investment. Buy it because you love it and want to look at it.
I think it's something we thought about doing for a long time. When I first worked here, which was starting in 1979, we were always framing Frank Benson etchings. He had collectors in the area, and I think he had relatives. So we frequently were framing the etchings. I always appreciated them. I liked the outdoors. I used to do a lot of birding, and a lot of them are of birds. But the story I was really familiar with his etchings working here, but then one of our customers has a home up on North Haven in Maine. It's an island in Maine, in Penobscot Bay, and that's where Frank Benson had a summer home, which I didn't know at the time. So anyway, I was visiting this customer's home, and she said, "Oh, you have to see the portrait of my grandmother," which is on the landing in the stairwell. It's a very elegant home, a summer home. And I looked at this portrait and I thought I was looking at a sergeant. And it was just the most beautiful portrait of a woman in a satin dress. And so I said, well, who's it by? And the woman said, Frank Benson. And I was like, well, that can't be the same Frank Benson that does the low etchings. And she says, it is. And I really doubted her. And I went back to the gallery and I was like, oh my gosh, she's right. It's actually John Hagen's collection of Bensons. I have a couple here, but it's artwork he's collected over the years, and so I'm thrilled that we're able to collaborate and do this together. It's really looking forward to it, and I think it's going to be a big success.